Boom.
Boom.
There it is. There it is. A world awakening. And I have got two of the most fearless, fierce goddesses that I could ever have on the show. Erin Bush, Carrie Hopper. Welcome to A World Awakening. Let's set this party on fire.
Let's do it. I'm here for it.
I mean, Erin is, for me, Erin,
Yes.
you are an inspiration to me. You are, and I don't tell you that often enough. But you found the wherewithal within yourself to, people go to psychiatrists and the psychiatrists will try to rip the plant out of the planter to look at all of the roots of the problem.
Right.
Okay. Erin ripped the plant out of the planter, threw it in the back of a Subaru and drove it to Maine from Florida. Took up residence in like the snow belt, the frozen tundra.
Yeah.
And reinvented herself in a year. I know.
Make it sound so much cooler than it is.
Yeah, no, I know how much work it was, and I know all of it. I get it. I've done it. I've moved 1,200 miles in a U-Haul all by myself with a dog and a cat in the front, keeping company through the tolls. And
once in your life, right? Why not?
I've reinvented myself over and over and over again. And I think that to live true to yourself, you have to live fearlessly. You can't, because how many times has each one of us ever been belittled or ridiculed or kicked to the side or had aspersions cast upon us for, very often no reason, sometimes with reason. Yeah. And we have to rise above that and learn our lessons the hard way, which is what humanity seems to have to do.
Right.
And then just move on. But, both of you, I mean, Carrie, when I first met you in person, I was just blown away by your energy. And I know that Erin was as well. And we became fast friends.
Yeah. It was immediate. Yeah.
You guys do a wonderful show on Thursday nights, right? Yes. Well, that was weird. A metaphysical comedy of errors with Carrie and Erin. And it's hysterical. And you make people laugh till they cry. And you bring forth this deluge of human emotion because they can relate, because they get it. Because, as you know, they're sitting there staring at a computer screen, or they've moved us on YouTube because it's all magical and shit over onto their TV. And, just sit there and get absorbed into what you're doing, what we're doing. Yeah. And what we are doing is raising the vibration. That's what all of Soul School was for the first hour. And then everybody ran, because we talked a lot about food, and everybody ran to the kitchen to get whatever that they had in the kitchen that was really yummy to come back to watch A World Awakening.
Yeah.
And so what inspired you to concoct this crazy show that touches on all things, but really stems from our connection with the supernatural, with what is paranormal in an otherwise quote unquote normal world, which sucks.
Yeah.
Right. You want to take that one?
Well, so Erin and I had kind of always talked about, especially when our abilities really started coming to the forefront, we had always talked about how we just kind of stumbled through it and just kind of had to try to like figure it out. We're fortunate, Erin and I are fortunate enough to have people like you to lean on, and people like my friends Chris and Audra to lean on, to kind of just be like, how do I do this? Where do I start?
Yeah.
But not everybody has that support network that Erin and I have. So we were like, maybe we want to create a Facebook group where people can just like ask questions or talk about, this is what it's like for me. What was it like for you? But we were so busy with all these other things in our lives that we were like, well, now's not the time.
Yeah.
And then Ken had approached us and said that he wanted to, he had a spot every other Thursday, and did Erin and I want to do a show together? And that was the sign. That was a sign that we needed.
Yeah.
To finally have this community of people that we'd always wanted to have. So that's how it got started. And when you have abilities that are coming out and you're getting new ones joining them, like you're just getting new abilities all the time, and you're kind of like, oh, that's what we're doing now? Okay, well, you know, like, well, that was weird. Like, and that's constantly what Erin and I were saying to each other. Like, well, and then all of a sudden I touched this thing and I got this flash, and I was like, well, that was weird. So that's kind of where that is where the title came from.
Well, and I think we wanted. Oops, sorry, go ahead, Anne.
No, when we were all together in North Carolina a few years ago, did I do your third eye for you?
Yes, you did.
It's your fault, Anne. Like usual, your fault. The mojo whammy, as we call it.
The mojo whammy is what I have called it.
Yeah, but I tell everybody I can't undo it.
Yeah.
I'm very forthright and, very straightforward in terms of, I do not know how to undo whatever it is that I'm doing. And I'm not the one doing it. They are, comes through, and then, and it is, I mean, how many times, Erin, have you seen me have to stabilize a human being and hold them in place because they were going over, because they were suddenly not, connected in 3D.
Knees go out.
Yeah.
People turn into rubber chickens sometimes when you do that.
It was, it was quite an experience. And that's what we tell people, because I'm very proud, Andrea, that you did that for me. I'm very proud and very honored, because I wouldn't want you to undo it even if you could. I love the gifts that I've been given. And if I get more, I will love those as well. And that's what a lot of people, because you're pretty well known for being able to do that, for having this ability to open up somebody's third eye. So I think a lot of people have this misconception that it's the same exact thing for everybody.
No, it's not.
And it's not.
Not at all.
It's very different. And you don't actually know what the person is going to experience.
Right.
You're opening up their third eye, and
down the rabbit hole you go.
However, and it may be something huge and tremendous, like it was with me, where you pretty much just blew the cage wide open. Or it might just be, somebody learns how to raise their shield so that they can, feel the higher vibrations that people are sending to them. But it's different for everybody. And I think that people get so excited when they talk to folks that you have done that for, that they're like, I want to do the same thing. Almost like they're thinking you gave me the abilities that I have.
Oh, no.
You will give it to them too.
Yeah, I gave you the key.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Erin and I are always saying is like, okay, everybody says it's really cool to have these abilities and you wish you had them, but be careful what you wish for.
Surely you will get it. You're going to meet somebody. When I met Erin in St. Augustine, I knew immediately. Instantaneously, I looked in that woman's eyes and I said, oh, you're Arcturian. And she says, yeah, I've been told that before. That was it. That was it. You might have, might as well have just stitched us together at the hip, and it's, and I have so many people in my life, but I have a close knit family that I, Jeff and Lynn Bowling are like my family.
Oh, yeah.
And, Amy and Sean Moore are my family, and Erin Bush and Carrie Hopper and Deb DeRoos and Tom Owen. And, and some people, I haven't even known Tom for a year. Mikey Thompson, I've only known Mikey Thompson for about maybe 6-7 years, but I would stop a train, to protect him. You know, I mean, there's so many people that we have in our life, but really it's a small circle, you know. Oh, Erin, I've got my circle the wagon thing like written for you to put on the.
Oh, you know. Okay, good. Send it to me.
Yes, I will. But you know, you can read people by their vibration. And the thing, you know, what I needed from Erin more than anything in the world was I needed her cheerful disposition to lift me up, because when we met, I was already walking around with this dread disease in me. I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
And I was fighting every day, you know, thinking and blaming it on COVID, blaming it on, you know, whatever. I just working too many hours, traveling too many trips, taking, you know, too many chances out in the real world, and not doing what I needed to do to rest and to take care of myself, and then chastising myself whenever I rested. Erin, you know, point blank, firsthand, how that is with me.
Yeah.
And I had to forgive myself and understand that the rest is part of the healing, that is, you know, something that I have to do for myself. And it also opens us up to our galactic family. It opens us up to the light beings who are trying to help us. And if we don't get still and we don't get quiet every now and then and listen, then we're missing the whole point. Human beings don't feel like they're worthy unless they're constantly working, constantly active, constantly accomplishing, constantly producing, constantly on the move. Instead of taking the time to be on the mend.
Yeah, that's been something I've been living. Well, since my job at Sunday River was up when the season ended, it's very hard to get used to just sort of being okay. But then it's like, okay, it's been a crazy 2 years. You know, we're feeling good about it, but the body's still exhausted. The soul's still tired. Like, you have to kind of take that, take that time. And I think, you know, that was one of the other reasons we wanted to do the show, is because I think a lot of times, and we say this often, that, you know, metaphysical life, spiritual life, you know, paranormal, a lot of it is fluff, and, you know, everything is unicorn farts and sunshine and rainbows. And we want, and that's great. Like, I'm not knocking that position at all, because, you know, there is a lot of that, but I think we wanted to bring the balance in the other end of it. Like, we present it as a train wreck, and we are, and that's fine. But we're like, I mean, that's the reality of what it is. I mean, I'm a mess. She's a mess. Together, it's just a whole disaster. But for whatever reason, that seems to go over well. But I think it's because we're trying to present a realistic way of what this really looks like, instead of it being all done up in filters and, you know, very expensive leggings. And, you know, like, I'd rather be honest. And if I look like I'm rode hard and hung up wet, as we say in the South, and so be it. Like, that's the reality of what life is. But there seems to be a lack of.
I love that phrase.
What, rode hard and hung up wet?
All the time.
Rode hard and put away wet.
I said that to Cody, and he was like, "What?" I'm like, "This is
what?"
Next time I see you.
I grew up
hard and put up wet, baby.
But we wanted to present the reality, like, of what it looked like for us, because like Carrie said, we have built an amazing network of people and that know a lot more than us. So we do have that access. I mean, I can call you, I can call Zaffis, I can, you know, all these amazing people that have so much time in the field, whether it be paranormal or metaphysical. Like, we've built this amazing community of people, but like Carrie said, not everybody has that. So if we're able to present it, but in a way that is true to us, which is shit show, then people tend to resonate with it, because then it's real. Like, we're not trying to say, oh, if you do X, Y, and Z, it's going to be great. No, there's a lot of rocking in the corner and crying and what the hell is wrong with me and have I lost my mind?
Yeah.
And we'd rather just present it the way it's sort of presented for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that community that we found, it's great, because in the chat, like, we always love watching everybody talking, just like they do here. It's a lot of the same people. Recognize all these names. And
I know we do. We share a lot of the same people, which to me is like a validation. You know, I mean, this is our tribe.
Yeah.
They've got the vibe. They
Absolutely.
know what we're talking about. They feel us. You know, when we connect with them, even in cyberspace, which is actually a pretty comfy place, if you admit it. You know, we can do what we do in our jammies if we want to, and so can they. And that's what's wonderful. And it's the acknowledgement that we are normal people that have had paranormal experiences, that we are natural in our environment, but we sometimes have supernatural experiences that blow us away. You know, so when you share it and your viewers, your participants in what you do feel that and might be sitting there going, oh my God, something like that happened to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it just triggered that memory just from having conversation, like just open conversation. And with the admission that none of us understand exactly what's happening. We know that there is another realm. We know that because we've experienced it and we've been graced to experience it. It's not a curse. It's a blessing to be touched by spirit, for that moment, that just, even if it's a fraction of a second, to know that what you just saw, what you just felt, what you just heard, somebody just called your name and it was audible. Oh, now do I recognize that voice? I mean, it is you, Erin, with two fingers in your back at your spine. And you knew, and you called me, and I knew that an attachment had formed.
Well, your mother, who I hadn't even told anybody yet, sits up in bed. Oh, Erin brought a friend back for the farm. I was calling to tell you that it had morphed into an attachment. And then I was like, well, shit, if Miss Carolyn's already figured it out, I need to make some calls on Monday.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that's kind of the other thing. Like, I'm not afraid to admit, like when we talked about that whole situation last week.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things about this journey is knowing we don't know everything. Like, we are always going to be students of this field. There's always something new to learn. And you have to be comfortable when you're out of your element and you're not in trouble, but you're having issues. Then you've got to be willing to go and tap into those friends and those people that know a lot more than you do. Listen to what they say, take that advice. And I think one of the other things I love about our show is all the stuff that we talk about. We try to make the things we discuss things people can try at home. Because let's be honest, a lot of these tools and spiritual, crystals and all, like, so much of this stuff is really expensive. And you feel like you have to go buy all the newest, fanciest things to kind of start this journey. And so try to give people things that they can do at home. And most of the time it's with stuff they've already got.
Well, I'll tell our viewers tonight what I told you, what I told Carrie. You are your very, very best piece of equipment. Your sensory perceptions. And when you're using your five senses to their fullest, and you have an open heart and your soul is ready to receive information, then here it comes. And you can't stop it, and you can ignore it. You can turn your back on it. If it scares you a little bit, you can, and say, nah. But eventually, whether it's in the back or on the shoulder, it's going to let you know, hey, I'm still here. And I know I'm still here. And you don't have to acknowledge it if you don't want to, but I am here. And it's to me, it's a wonderful thing. To me, it's what washes away any fear I might have around a dread disease, like any fear.
I have to agree with that as well.
I know that, and I'm first of all, I feel way too alive to die. I like way too alive, and in fact, in some ways. And you might both understand this or not, but in some ways, being given a death sentence brought me back to life. It did.
Yeah.
And made me cherish every moment, every experience, even, embrace my naps as healing and divine and lovely. It's brought me deeper. And I've always been a deeply faithful, spiritual person, but nothing like where I am now.
Yeah.
Because I've had some life-altering healing experiences through this, which I would not have required if I didn't have the disease.
True.
If that makes any sense.
It absolutely does. It can't help but change your outlook on things. When somebody gives you that kind of diagnosis, that unless you simply just don't care about life or living or anything, you are going to stop and take stock.
Yeah.
So knowing what it's like in the light, having that connection, I'm not surprised that it doesn't, you have no fear of it, because we live in it so much of our lives.
Yeah.
That my best friend of 40 years, her mother died of breast cancer a year and a half ago. And Jennifer, I talk about her all the time. She knows about my abilities. She was one of the ones that were like, I'm here for you. It's going to be okay. You're not going crazy. But there are times where, because I know what life is like in the light, because I talk to people in it, my own family and loved ones of, others, sometimes I just wish that I could give her my gift so that she could see what life is like in the light, where her mom is, where her grandmother is, where her cousin is. I wish that there was a way I could better describe what that's like, so that the ones that are left behind feel a little bit of comfort, because a lot of people are like, what is heaven like? I don't know. Or if they don't even believe in it, like, where did they go? What is happening?
On death. It changes your whole perception on death.
It does. It does. I don't have a fear of it either. And I don't even I haven't even been given that kind of diagnosis that you have, Andrea.
No.
Well, I didn't believe it. I refused. I am defiant in the face of this.
Yeah.
I am a bitch from hell in the face of this. What's my mantra, Erin? What's my daily mantra?
Get out of my fat, fluffy temple right now. I think I missed a word. Is it?
Yeah, fuck. You missed the word fuck. Get the fuck out of my big, fat, fluffy temple now. And then I expanded it over time.
Oh, did you?
Son of a bitch. Go back and live with your father, the devil. So it's depending on like how much coffee I've had. Sometimes
I love it. We need to make shirts, Aaron. Just one long sentence on the front of a shirt.
I know I should. Somebody will make it for me.
Hashtag.
Yeah. Somebody will.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. Yeah. Yeah. And the other one, we are here. I mean, neither one of you are naive enough to think that you just stumbled upon your abilities at this particular point in your particular life.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as coincidence. Whatever you come into this world with, you were born with, you brought with it. It was up to you to discover it. And I am humbled truly by the fact that I helped Erin discover what is her essence, because she did a lot of suppressing of the essence because it was just a little hard. It's hard. It's nothing easy about it. Is that Bernie in the background?
Of course.
Yeah.
He's banging around a bone down here. At least he's not squeaking tonight, but it's only 10:30, so we got plenty of time for that.
I saw black on black movement over there.
Right.
In the corner. Yeah, that's Burnmeister. I love him.
He had a 4-mile walk today, so he should be asleep, but he's not. So that's typical. Standard operating. But yeah, I think you get to the point with this stuff where it, like in the face of your diagnosis, in the face of the chaos Carrie's had, in the face of the chaos I've had, and everybody's got their own shit that they're going through.
Yeah.
But I think you have a choice in your perspective on any situation that you're in. And I've said this before, and I think you can all agree with that. Like, do I have every right to potentially be bitter and pissed off about the last 2 years? Sure do. But what's the point? Yeah. Everything that's happened in the last 2 years has brought me right here. Yeah. So I could choose to focus on, the end of my marriage and, the loss of my job at the farm, or, the death of your mom, the death of Maria. Like, take your pick of any of the things that have gone on in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But I made the decision, because I've learned so much from the people on the screen and all these other people in my life, and I've done a lot of work to be able to look at it and be like, okay, there's no plan. And that's okay, because I've learned for sure that the universe has always got a bigger, better plan. Yeah. I just have to trust it. And I also understand that a lot of those things fell by the wayside because they were no longer working.
They no longer served you.
They don't. So it's, but that's all perspective, and that's a choice that each individual has to make. And it's not an easy choice to make.
No, it's very difficult. A lot of people would rather stay stuck in the quagmire.
Yeah.
Because
that's what works for them.
Change is scary. Right. Change is scary.
Complacency and compliance are easier than going forward hopefully and fearlessly.
Yes.
That's easier. In the same way as all three of us have talked about why it seems like so much of the world has gotten cold as stone. And the reason that it seems that way is because it has. Because empathy hurts. It hurts when you even momentarily put yourself in an absolutely untenable situation that is happening to someone else, and even for a moment feel how scared they are, feel how much they are suffering, feel how hurt and deeply scarred they are by what they're experiencing. When you put yourself in their shoes, even for a brief amount of time, and then extricate yourself from it, you still feel that pain. And so what we have to do is not discount and discard empathy. I think it's one of the greatest human emotions, one of our greatest qualities. But we have to learn not to let it consume us, not to let us become their trauma. It's very, very difficult when you are an empath. I mean, if my sister gets a hangnail and starts swearing and looking for the file and just having a fit in the kitchen while I'm making her a cup of coffee, and she caught her fingernail letting the cat out the back door and she tore her nail off, and oh my God, it's the end of the world as we know it. I absorb that. SpongeBob has nothing on me. Then she'll walk up to me and with her boo-boo finger and look at me and say, "Are you okay?" And I'll say, "No, I just absorbed this fit that you just threw for 30 seconds. And it just,
and now I'm mad.
And now I don't even know how to deal with this. What do I do with this?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, just go out and feed the chickens, freeloading chickens that have moved into our yard, by the dozens. I'll just go feed the chickens. You'll feel better." We are absorbent. Empathy is painful. It's hard.
It is.
And you can either choose that path, or you can let yourself go dark and hard and not feel anything for anyone, because that way you don't get hurt. And to me, it might be the easier path, but it's not the brave one.
No. It's a very lonely path at the end of the day.
Requires courage to live this life. Nobody's promised us this was going to be easy. Nobody did.
Exactly.
And it's not for the weak. This kind of stuff takes a lot of self-introspection and a lot of pulling out the worst parts of yourself and having to make peace with those in order to, because again, it's all balance, right? You can't have light without dark.
Yeah.
You have to learn to love all the parts of yourself in order to become more whole.
Yeah, even the bad things. And one of my favorite lines ever is in Pretty Woman, where he's talking to her and telling her she's amazing and wonderful, and she's like, the bad stuff is easier to believe.
Yep.
Because it is. Well, okay. Look at it. Where did it come from? How do you use that bad stuff? Do you push it away? Do you try to if you take a really raw look at yourself, that's hard to do because nobody wants to address the worst parts about them that maybe other people see and think that those are the bad parts of them too. Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
But if you really want to, I don't really want to say live an authentic life, but just kind of like own who you are.
Yeah.
Start there. We've all at some point, and I've said this on our show, we all at some point have been toxic as fuck to someone else. Yeah. We are a villain in someone else's story, and that's probably a rightly earned title.
Yeah.
But, are we really going to come out and be like, no, he lies and he made it up and I didn't go crazy? You know what? My ex-fiance would probably be like, that bitch is crazy. You know why? Because I was at times. He made me crazy. I made him crazy. It was not great. We just got to admit it.
Yeah.
Admit it. You don't have to
well, the thing is that we all walk with our shadow. Mm-hmm. We all do. If there is light, then our shadow is right there with us. And, Jeff Turner and I on Soul School have addressed this many times. And, it's what we really have to do, I think, is learn to just put our arm around it and embrace it. And know that is part of us, that we live in a 3-dimensional world in a multidimensional universe. And in the world that we live in is narrow and as oppressive and as burdensome as it can be. Yeah. It's duality, and one cannot exist without the other. There is no one who has ever walked this earth that is pure. Yeah. Absolutely, completely pure. I've seen examples where I've met people that are really close to that. But even they will say, oh, no. I could, like I said tonight, I can be a bitch from hell. Mm-hmm. And where I focus that negative energy that is in me is against a disease, and then not believing. If I were told by my doctor that what I was told, that my particular infirmity is incurable and inoperable. Mm-hmm. If I had believed that, I would probably be gone already, because that's how advanced it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they're having trouble finding it. I'm going for a PET scan next week. 2 weeks? The 7th, I think. Yeah. July 7th.
Week after next. Yeah.
And man, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to the staff and the people that are reading the machine. And I'm in this thing that looks like I'm on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Please scan my cat. Yeah.
Could you? Yes. Can I bring my cat? Take a look. I think she ate an earring. But you
gotta think about it this way. And we've talked about this at length. I mean, what you've been going through is such a testament to, because obviously you've got modern medicine that you're using, healthcare system, but then the other end of it is the energetic side of it. And when we talk about empathy and people's lack of it in this world, the one thing that empathy and what you're dealing with have in common is that everybody is energetically connected.
Yeah.
And people forget that. But on the
We
positive,
are the collective. Yeah.
What you've been going through and how you've been handling it, healing so quickly, like kicking this thing's ass, is also a true testament to the energetic connections that you have with other people, whether it's a healer or a friend or whatever it looks like.
Oh my God, and thousands and thousands of people have prayed for me.
Exactly.
You know,
and look where you're sitting now.
So humbled, so grateful, so deeply grateful.
But it's your perspective knowing that there's more out there, which takes the fear of death out. But then also the knowing full well what you'll be getting from other people energetically, from the galactic spirit, whatever it is. You're just like, give it all to me. I don't care. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And fully embracing that. So you didn't have, like, I think you and I talked about where there's never been that fear for you, where I think where it gets hard for people is, and of course, that kind of diagnosis, if you don't have the background that you've got in metaphysical, spiritual, paranormal, all that stuff, fear is an easy one to slide into. And once fear starts manifesting, then that changes the frequency of the energy you're putting out. So again, it's a cognitive decision that you were basically like, not today, Satan. And, stayed on that high vibrational level. And then you just took everybody along with you. So it's been and if you don't write you know how I feel about you writing a book about this whole experience, because it is a testament to what the connectedness of all of us can do with a singular intention. I mean, how many events did you go to, or not even ones you went to, but the ones you went to, and then other ones you weren't even at, where people were doing prayer circles for you? And, like it's a singular intent. It's all high vibrational, and it's thousands of people from all over the world. And that says something.
Yeah, it really does. It's tremendous. And to be able to be a part of it and feel the collective energy for you, remarkable.
Agreed.
Remarkable.
I wish
that like Erin said, not everybody has that. No. But I think that a lot of people, they will put stuff on Facebook like, oh, where I'm having family problems, please pray. That's a lot of people get annoyed when they see posts like that. They're like, they're vague booking. We don't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Doesn't matter.
Just pray. Just pray.
They need the energy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think more people should do that, because there are so many of us, the three of us, everyone watching, everybody that we know in our beautiful little weird tribe will send that energy to them.
Yes.
But most people are like, oh, scroll. They just want attention, blah, blah, blah. It's
right.
And it's that vibration that we need to avoid, like the Black Plague of Europe.
Right.
For sure.
That, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because if somebody found the courage to open up their phone in a moment of desperation and reach out to some friends, yes, but maybe a lot of strangers too, and found the courage to do that, honor it. Honor it, you low-life scum sucking son of a bitch. Honor it. Or shut up.
It literally costs you nothing.
Nothing.
It's not about you.
To be kind. No, it's not.
And that's why they don't want to hear about it.
It's about the other person. It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's for them. Who gives a shit what it's their business. And if that's what they need energetically, you send up what you got and hope that it helps. And then, but it's not about you at the end of the day. It's about other people. And
and if they're not going into detail about why they're asking for prayers or energy, so what?
So what? It's none of our business.
Yeah, it's none of our business.
When you do energy, like when I do energy work, and Carrie, you can probably relate to this on the Akashic side of things, where I don't need to know. Like, in Akashic readings, you may be asking a question, but you can read the records regardless, right? It doesn't, you get your permission. It doesn't matter. So like with the energy work that I do, you don't have to tell me anything. I'm just the copper tube that the energy goes through and comes out. And that energy is intelligent and it knows exactly where to go and what to do. And I do a little, directional stuff with symbols, but
sure,
it's not my energy I'm working with. And it's a very easy way to just help someone by whether you're praying or you're using energy, you're using the universe, whatever it is for you. It's all the same intention.
Yeah,
and it's for
exactly.
Erin,
even with a thought,
turn your volume down just a little because we're getting suddenly we're getting duplicate.
Is that better?
Is
that better?
Yes.
I think it got rid of the.
You good?
Echo. Yeah, got rid of the echo.
I don't know how this thing works, so.
No, I
just turned a knob. Sure, that works.
Well, oh my God, I did not get a nap today. So that I'm still conscious is really a testament to my personal strength because I'm just, oh my God.
Man, I don't know how you do it, Andrea. I really don't, because I took a 3-hour nap. I was like, I got a show at 10, 5 o'clock. I'm going to go lay down for a little bit.
She called the other day. She's like, yeah, Chris and I, and maybe this is a New England thing. Chris and I are going to be redoing the deck, pulling all the pots down, stripping it down. And I'm like, what is it with you New Englanders that you pick the hottest day of the summer to do this shit? That's going to take massive amounts of physical effort. And she's like, let's just do what Chris tells me to do. And I'm going, that's pretty amazing that you by right should be in bed, but you've chosen to just say,
no,
just keep it on with all the
Not
things
a life
that we
to
were
live.
doing.
Yeah.
But that's still a choice. All this is a choice.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I find very often, a lot of my life, so much of my life happens like from the neck up, with my writing and everything. The fingers are flying but everything's going on up here and in here. Yeah. And when I'm mowing the lawn or painting the deck or, picking up poop in the playpen or, just raking, just physical activity where whether it's in the 40s or it's in the 90s, I'll adjust, I'll dress accordingly. But I go out and I feel like I'm using the vessel. I'm taxing the vessel sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm keeping in motion. A body in motion stays in motion. Yeah. And I lay down when I need to, and I know when I need to. I eat chocolate when I need to, which is daily. Because, and then coffee, nectar of the gods. It is liquid goddess medicine.
Yes.
It is.
Juice.
Yeah. I listen to myself. And what can I do? And, thankfully I have a wonderful sister who, if I say to her, Chris, I'm done. I'm spent, And she's like, go lay down, go get a big glass of water and put an ice pack on the back of your neck, take a couple of Motrin and go lay down. And then after about 45 minutes, either she comes in and lays down or I go back out and join her. And then we have a nice dinner and then we both rest. So it works. It is, it works. Yeah. And it's a unique and interesting and lifelong partnership.
Yeah.
That I have with my sister, my very special Christine, who I don't know if I could have even gotten to where I am now without her. I know that I couldn't have. She's been my rock of Gibraltar through all of this, my saving grace and my advocate. My doctors know her as well as they know me. And she watches out for me and as I watch out for her, and we go protest together and we go out to eat together and we
love that
Wally World together. And, and it's a camaraderie. It's a unique relationship, there are no boundaries, none.
Right.
No, and I think it's important for all of us to have at least one person in our life that it doesn't matter what you say or how you say it or what you think, or if you're laughing hysterically or if you are crying hysterically, you are universally, perpetually accepted, embraced, and deeply loved by someone who, no matter what you are going through, is there to hold your hand.
Yes.
Great.
And I've got that. So I am blessed. I am truly blessed.
Chrissy's the best. And she's real. I don't know if you don't hang out with her much, people don't realize how funny she is.
Oh, she's a laugh riot.
When we spent that 14 hours cleaning out that room, I hadn't laughed that hard in a hot minute. She and I just, it was absurd. But she, she's got that experience. She's not as into it as we are, but she also understands it. But she's just got such a good attitude about stuff.
Yeah.
And that's just who she is. But damn, she's funny.
Yeah. Gosh, she's a nut job. She really is.
That's why we all get along so well.
Aquarians. Carrie, what is your sign?
I'm an Aquarian.
Are you?
Oh, yeah, February 11th.
So much. I should have known.
Yeah. I am a true Aquarian for sure.
Well, I mean, yes, we all know, all three of us know how to appreciate and to live in the moment.
Yeah.
But as you project forward with your gifts, with your friendships, with the world and the life that you have built, for yourselves, do you feel innately optimistic? Because I do. In spite of everything that operates to the contrary of that, I still feel very optimistic because I know good conquers evil, love conquers fear. It does. Every time,
I do.
Without exception. So it's easy to be optimistic, but how do you feel?
I'm very optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
It gets to a point like just you've got to turn the news off. You've got to. Sometimes my mom will watch the news all day long and just get madder and madder and madder. I'm like, Mom, you've got to step away from
it out.
Tune it out
temporarily. Tune it out.
Right. Let's watch Harry Potter. Let's watch Mike and Molly. Let's watch something else for a little while.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. And of course, Friends. Yes.
And Friends. Yeah.
But I am optimistic about not only what is going on in the world with humanity in our country, but even in my own personal life. I've got 9,000 businesses that I've started, and I'm like, you know what? They're all going to be raging success. And while I'm spread very thin with time, I am going to do it. It's going to be fine because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's what I know I'm supposed to be doing. I find that when I do things that I am called to do, the more optimistic I become, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, it's so easy to get caught up in the bigness of what's going on. And, I'm doing the protest thing, which I know shocks the shit out of Andrea because I did finally start doing that.
Oh, no, I knew you were going to get there. I knew
she's going to get there eventually. But I think the position I still maintain is that I can't change what's going on as an individual in the world or in this country as one person, but I can affect change in the circles I run in.
Yes.
Like I can try and be a good person. I can still, like we do our show or, somebody needs energy work or like I can still affect change in the realm with which the space that I occupy. I can help.
Very well said.
Like
very well said. Yeah.
And those are ripple effects, right? You drop a pebble in the pond and it will out. So that I think has helped me with navigating some of that because it's like, I know I'm trying to do things the right way and I'm trying to help other people. And if I can do that and feel good with it, then I can't do anything about the chaos, but I can help in my immediate little circle that I have.
And you can choose not to add to it.
Well, that was exactly
Also
the
true.
point that I was just going to make, and I'm glad you said it first. The way that it's not just about avoiding the chaos, the bedlam, the anger, the subterfuge. It's not about avoiding it. It's about not increasing it.
Yeah.
You know, how many times, Erin, have you heard me say, we simply cannot afford to become what we loathe?
Yeah.
You know, we can't. The messages that I have gotten, I covered this on Soul School last hour. The messages are, you know, lead with love, lead with love, lead with light, or you will fail at your mission. Lead with love and light, or you will fail at your mission, and you can stop what's going on. But there's only one way to stop it, and that is love, because love is a verb. Love is an action word. It only masquerades as a noun. It's nothing but 4 letters until you put it into action.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that was the reason why Bill's throwing us off the air in like 2 minutes. But, you know, I just had, and I adore him. I adore him. But I think he finagles with the clock because he's probably got to go pee or something. And, you know, sometimes
or produce 7 other shows
going on, Bill.
7 other shows at the same time, you know, but yeah, okay. So he's actually right. We are actually out of time. But I will have you back again because we need to dance. We need to. Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, Bill.
We need to do this.
Yes.
We need to explode with the joy of our sisterhood. We're star sisters. You know, we are. Oh, you know, and please, everybody out there that's within earshot, you know, my dear Lynn and Jeff Bowling, and Jeff just had hip surgery. So if everybody could please send him some good healing energy.
Absolutely.
He's like my paranormal husband, and he needs to be. I mean, Linny is kind enough to share him with me and let him run me all over Michigan and help me in every conceivable way. And
look, they're already doing it. It's already coming in.
Yeah, you know, I want Jeff back on his feet pronto. We got shit to do. We got supernatural shenanigans.
Yep.
So
and do your physical therapy.
Yes, and do your physical therapy.
Yes.
Oh, and Erin, before we go, I've got this thing. This thing that's going on right here. I don't know what it is. It's right here. It's this big lump, and it's okay. It's my right. I might have just overstrained it doing something I probably shouldn't have been doing. Okay. But yeah, so if you could just work on my right, you know, back arm and elbow. Okay, thank you. So on that happy note, I love you. I love you. I love you all. Thank you
so much. This has been such a joy. Oh God, I love you so much. And Erin, you're one of my very best friends. And I know I'll talk to you in like an hour or so, but
or less. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
And everyone watching, thank you so much.
Okay, everybody have a wonderful, very happy, find something to celebrate on the 4th of July. Try not to use fireworks in, you know, places that are nothing but tinder waiting to, you know, go up.
And keep the pets inside.
Yes, and be safe and don't drink and drive and be the light you seek. Okay, that's it. We're good. We're out of here. Mwah.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye, guys.